Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. It is August 14th, 2021. Hey, we survived another Friday the 13th, and of course, you're here to celebrate that with us. Tonight, we will be talking about Journey to the Savage Planet. The devs are back. Typhoon Studios has returned as a brand new studio, of course, after their shutdown on Google Stadia's team. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also be talking about the Battlefield 2042 short film Exodus and all of the juicy details we got out of that, setting up the upcoming Battlefield game. Of course, our title story tonight, we'll be talking about Dr. Disrespect and his ambitions to set up a AAA studio alongside esports platform Boom TV. Very interesting development on that one for sure. Again, it is August 14th, 2021. We're going to roll our intro and get things started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th. 2020 here to our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here too. Figured this is a kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and of course everything is all kinds of crazy. So this thing is a chonker. I mean,
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPC's Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. There we go. We're live. Hi, guys. It's only been a couple weeks. Of course, last week off with no podcast and no news live stream, of course. Just very tired and busy adults doing the busy adulting thing. Hi, Kyle.
What's up?
What is up indeed? We got a lot of news to talk about. We got 7 good stories to get through here. A lot of interesting things going on in the world of gaming this week that fortunately doesn't have to deal with any of the Activision Blizzard lawsuit stuff. Of course, there's all that going on, but we've elected to not talk about that one anymore for at least a little while. But what we will talk about is a very interesting development in the world of gaming, and I'm going to let Kyle go ahead and start us off here with this one. Are you ready, Kyle?
Yeah.
All right, so this first story comes to us tonight from Engadget. Journey to the Savage Planet developers reform after Google shut them down. What are they doing now, Kyle?
The employees of Typhoon Studios, the developer behind Journey to the Savage Planet, are reforming under the name Raccoon Logic. In an announcement, the team says that they are to boldly go to where they were before. Google's doomed acquisition of the company, Raccoon Logic, has also revealed that the team has reacquired the rights to Savage Planet, enabling them to hit the ground running on new adventures in the action-adventure space. Typhoon was founded in 2017 by a group of Montreal-based game executives, including Far Cry 4 director Alex Hutchinson and Arkham Knight executive producer Reed Schneider. The first title was Journey to Savage Planet, a satirical sci-fi game for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, first released January 2020. In 2019, Typhoon was acquired by Google as part of its push to acquire first-party content for its nascent Stadia streaming service. Sadly, in early 2021, Google's notoriously impatient leadership decided to change strategy, closing its first-party games division and firing the employees. The decision would, in short term, prove problematic as Journey to the Savage Planet experienced some game-breaking bugs that Google had to race to work out how to fix, and left the future of both Savage Planet franchise and the careers of those Typhoon staffers in the balance. In a statement, Raccoon Logic says that it has received a pivotal investment from Tencent, which will bankroll its as yet an unannounced debut project. Alex Hutchinson says that Tencent's backing is a huge boost, meaning we can do significant work on our own before we start talking to publishers. Reed Schneider, meanwhile, thanks to 505 Games, which published Savage Planet, and added that he's planning to build upon the Journey to Savage Planet franchise in the future.
Well, I mean, that's actually very interesting to see that we did get a setup again of Typhoon Studios. The fact that they literally like just came back from the dead, that they were able to come back and reform into something brand new, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, did you play Journey to the Savage Planet? I know Preston did, and he had a ball with it, but did you get a chance to try it?
You know, I had put it off and put it off, and I went to go play it and started it on game streaming actually, which it was early on when it was still in beta, and that was a mistake because I got to play through like an opening segment and didn't enjoy what I was playing because it was just so laggy and choppy. Um, but I mean, as far as like the actual narrative and stuff, it's really quirky, and I was actually enjoying that portion until it got into gameplay, and then it was just unplayable because of the game streaming at that time.
Okay.
So maybe
Okay.
it's worth giving it a shot. I think again, I probably will here in the near future, but I'm still on the Mass Effect kick, so.
Yeah, that's another thing you need is something like this where Journey to the Savage Planet is large enough that would probably eat up a good chunk of your time, and that's better dedicated to Mass Effect for the short term, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, awesome stuff. I have not played it. Again, I know Preston did. I may also be in that same boat and end up like actually looking to see about playing it again. Now, of course, that they're, for lack of a better term here, free agents again. I think the thing though that didn't oh yeah, the article said it right there at the beginning, is that they did reacquire the rights to Journey to the Savage Planet from Google, which means that they can take that game, they can either do something different with it that maybe they had not realized or something until they were actually working with Google and got it published. Maybe we could see a re-release of the whole thing. They could start over from scratch and do a remake of it already, or it at least allows them to make a Journey to the Savage Planet 2 or what have you,
Yeah.
I'm very excited to at least see that they've been able to get back their original IP, which is awesome.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And speaking of original IP, a very interesting thing coming up here, of course, in the news is our next article. This one from Kotaku. The GTA Remastered trilogy appears to be real and coming to Switch. After months of rumors and speculation, Kotaku has learned from sources that Rockstar Games may be remastering 3 classic Grand Theft Auto games. Currently, it appears these games will be released later in the fall for a multitude of platforms, including the portable Nintendo Switch. For the past year, rumors have swirled on Twitter, Reddit, and various messaging boards that Rockstar is working on remakes of or remasters of classic PS2 era Grand Theft Auto titles. These rumors only grew in popularity as Rockstar's parent company Take-Two Interactive used DMCA takedowns to remove classic GTA mods from the internet while announcing that the publisher had 3 remastered games in development. While Kotaku can't confirm what all those teased remastered titles specifically are, we can confirm via corroborating sources or details, from 3 sources that GTA remasters are currently in the final stages of development. Kotaku's reached out to Rockstar about the remastered games and future GTA re-releases. Our sources have so far had reliable track records that have alerted us to updates in GTA Online and Red Dead Online weeks, if not months, in advance. According to the sources, Rockstar is actively developing remastered versions of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. All 3 of these games are being remastered using Unreal Engine and will be a mix of new and old graphics. One source who claims to have seen a snippet of the game in action said that the visuals reminded them of a heavily modified version of a classic GTA title. The UI for the games are being updated too, but will retain the same classic style. No details were shared about gameplay, but Kotaku has been told that these remastered titles are trying to stay true to the PS2 era GTA games as much as possible. Sources confirm that Rockstar Dundee, a Scottish outpost of one of the newest studios at the company, is leading the charge on developing the remastered games. Another source explained that the studio is heavily involved in not just the remasters, but is even helping Rockstar in developing the next-gen GTA 5 ports that are due out later this year. This lines up with information that Kotaku heard last year after the studio was purchased by Rockstar Games. Before becoming Rockstar Dundee, the studio was Ruffian Games and had previously worked on Crackdown 2, Crackdown 3, and assisted with development on the Master Chief Collection. I think that's pretty simple to at least stop there now. But GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas, all in one nice, neat bundle that you can go ahead and pick up for yourself. What do you think, Kyle? Is that a game that you're actually going to go and pick up?
I've had the 3-pack before on Xbox, and I traded it in. I don't know. I probably will, unfortunately. I don't think I've ever actually played more than the beginning of San Andreas and just a few missions here and there. I have played the retarded mission. Um, what is it? Uh, with the famous line. The all you had to do was get to the damn train, CJ.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you
Yeah.
never actually got to play like
No, I've
the
played
bomb.
that
Did you play the
mission.
bomb drop?
I didn't play the bomb drop.
No, because the bomb.
And actually, I didn't play that train mission on my file because I had never gotten that far.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
pretty. That one's a good amount in there at least before you start leaving, Los Santos to go out to
Right.
Las Venturas and that. So yeah,
I mean, I'll probably pick it up, but I don't know why.
you don't know why. I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto. I mean,
Right.
I've beaten all 3 of these games already. I don't know if I will. If they come to Game Pass, I might pick them up for nostalgia's sake that way and just give them a try. But you know, I don't see any reason in doing that. I don't see any value in actually going and buying some of these things. I mean, it's kind of cool that they're remastering them, but it's like, why can't you just work on GTA 6? Why can't we just get GTA 6 here sometime soon?
On the other hand, there is a whole generation of gamers that haven't played these ones, and I highly recommend, especially San Andreas. Well, all 3 of them. All 3 of them had their real positive points. I mean,
oh yeah.
yeah.
I would say
I can't not recommend those 3 titles as far as Grand Theft Auto games. So if you haven't played them, definitely pick them up and play them. Even if it's $60, that's a lot of game.
That's a good point. I think one of the things that people don't really realize is just how much Grand Theft Auto has scaled up, especially since Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, and even before Grand Theft Auto 3, what Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 originally were, being the top-down games. You know, you didn't have any of this level of interactivity that you do in Grand Theft Auto 3 and up. It's just, it was interesting to see the dynamic shift from what that game looked like back in the day up until Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. And it is one of those things that kind of helps, you know, not necessarily just on the transition, but also look at the size of the maps and the size of the worlds that you're in, and how they actually use the clouds to hide the draw distance. So that way, you know, you don't have all the buildings rendered in that. And then, like, you know, compare it to Grand Theft Auto 5 and how far out you can see things and do things in it. It's definitely a trip to take that kind of going back in time with that. It's really throws you off a bit. So yeah, it's right. If you haven't if you're absolutely right, Kyle, it's like, if you haven't played these before, it might be worth it to go spend the money to go do it. I think for us though, that have grown up on them, I think honestly, it might be worth it to kind of check them out, but maybe not buy them. If they come out on Game Pass, it might be worth it.
I don't know. Like I feel like people should go out and buy them because, like I said, there's a lot of gamers that, you know, you think about how long the newest GTA has been out. It's bridged 3 console generations.
Yeah, and it's getting, like the article said, it's getting its remastered ports here in several months, November actually.
So I mean, look at it this way too. When that game came out, there were kids being born that are now asking to play it. Now, mind you, I don't necessarily condone it. I know it's an M-rated game and everything, but I know I begged my parents to play M-rated games. You know,
the game came out in 2013, and you're telling me that the kids who were born then are going to be playing it now.
Is it 2013? I thought it was earlier than that.
Grand Theft Auto 5 dropped in 2013. Grand Theft Auto 5 dropped in 2013, and then they did a re-release of it on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so that way it could support first-person view.
So yes, like 8.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I thought they'd be like 12. My bad.
That's why I'm like, what is wrong with you? If you let an 8-year-old play
M-rated
GTA
games when I was 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kyle, I mean, like, I don't know what kind of household you grew up in, but in this household, I don't let the 8-year-old play M-rated games. I don't know what's wrong with you. Jesus Christ, that would explain a lot about you. But that's for a different
Oh
discussion.
yeah, that's where I come
Anyway,
from. Those violent video games.
no kidding, no kidding. All right, so let's talk about this next one here, Kyle. And then, of course, I've actually got the movie queued up and ready to go here to put behind. But this is another interesting one. And this one is on you, of course, Kyle. Battlefield 2042 story trailer brings back a Battlefield 4 favorite. Talk to us about this one.
Battle 2042 won't feature a traditional narrative single-player campaign, but that doesn't mean it won't carry over storytelling elements from the previous games, or that it won't tell stories of its own. In a newly released short film titled Exodus, developer DICE and publisher Electronic Arts set up the story for Battlefield 2042 and confirm the return of beloved character Battlefield 4 Kimball Irish Graves, once again played by Michael K. Williams. The 9-minute film appears to confirm a canonical ending from 2013's Battlefield 4. The Irish not Huang or Hannah Shuyi survives the events of the game's campaign. As such, Irish will be a playable NOPAT specialist in Battlefield 2042. Exodus also introduces a new character to the Battlefield lore named Oz. He clashes with Irish over the future of the NOPAT's 2042 nickname for the non-patrioted soldiers who fight in the upcoming game's global conflict. EA said in the news released that the story for Battlefield 2042 will continue to evolve over time and will be told through the future playable specialist, not unlike how EA's Apex Legends or Blizzard Entertainment's Overwatch handle their storytelling. Irish is the fifth confirmed specialist coming in Battlefield 2042, following Casper, Mackie, Boris, and Falk, who were all revealed in June. Battlefield 2042 is coming in to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows PC, Xbox One, Series X, and assumed S on October 22nd.
Yeah, so I've got the video going right now, of course, here behind us, Kyle, for the Exodus short film, and yeah, it's I think one cool thing though, of course, because it was being rumored and speculated, of course, after the maps having been announced for Battlefield Portal, a couple of them contained Battlefield 3, and I think they said maybe 4 in there. I can't really recall, but after they had announced some of that, that Jack Frags, I guess, it started to go off and say that it looked like we were going to be seeing this, that we were going to be seeing Battlefield 2042 as the potential sequel for Battlefield 4. And I think with the introduction of Irish in here, that's 100% confirmed that this is what takes place after Battlefield 4, which, if you want to ask me what that story is, to be perfectly honest, I can't even remember what the story is in Battlefield 4. I can't.
I can tell you, I never finished Battlefield 4 because that was one of the first games that launched on the Xbox One, and it was broken for like a year.
Doesn't shock me one bit. But
yeah, so every time I tried to play it, I'd get halfway through the campaign and my campaign data would be deleted. So I just gave up on it.
Right. And that's just a shame. Hopefully that we don't see that happening in 2042. But at least with this, though, is that we got ourselves with Exodus a good kind of introduction of sorts, kind of setting up what's going on with the conflict, at least as it relates to 2042, kind of to a point, sort of. So the voice we hear, of course, in the teaser that came out last week, or a couple weeks ago, excuse me, is definitely in here as well, though, too. The overall goal in this one is to intercept a United States weapons satellite from, because it crashed out of the sky. They have to go intercept it first before this former Russian Nopat gets in there and takes it for himself to start World War III in that. So that's really kind of the whole premise of what this is here, is just to kind of for them to go and secure the intel to find out where this thing actually crashed down at. But it is a very well put together short film here. For the 9 minutes in that, it's pretty good quality there. I think it does give enough detail on or at least what we'd expect for something like this, though, to give some sort of introduction to what's going on. But I think there needs to be a little bit more world building here with this, though, too. And I think where some of that's helping out is the what is it? The NoPats website on Battlefield 2042's main website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But did you get a chance to actually watch this, Kyle? Even though it wasn't
no,
okay.
I was actually sitting here listening to you and kind of watching the video, and I'm just like, well, shit, is the level gonna start? I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that you're actually booting up the game, and this is the first thing you see.
Yeah, no, this is it. Really, really cool cinematic, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to check it out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do, because it is definitely well worth it. I really do like it. I like the. I really think that trailer set it up very well. Of course, that we're getting Irish as a specialist, though. It turns out that he actually may end up being one of the better specialists that most people will probably use right off the bat. One of his passive abilities that I learned about is actually called Veteran. And what that means is that when he starts or respawns, I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's when he respawns, he starts with a little bit of body armor and a little bit of ammo compared to other people on the field. So that means that he is at least going to be able to kind of hit the ground running with a little bit of protection and a little bit of extra ammo there to get things started. So it may not be a bad idea to kind of start working with him potentially as the specialist that you use just for that kind of extra bonus. But until people start unlocking full metal jackets or the armor piercing rounds, it's going to be, he'll be pretty formidable. So definitely worth it on that one. But yeah, Battlefield 2042, we've still got the open beta coming up in a few weeks, sometime here in September. And can't wait to actually be able to hop into that one. At least I'm sure that that's the one that's having it, or am I mixing it up with Halo Infinite? Trying to remember.
I don't know.
One of them has an open beta coming up here soon. I'm pretty sure that it is.
I think it's Infinite.
It's one of them.
Whatever.
They have
I'm
the
probably
pre-order.
gonna play both of them.
Well, duh. Yeah, I'm gonna play both of them too. In the meantime, let's move on here to the next story here, and this one is actually kind of cool to see. This one from IGN. Nintendo Switch sweeps Japanese sales chart, a feat that hasn't been accomplished in 30 years. For reportedly the first time since 1988, the top 30 best-selling games in Japan are all from one console. Unsurprisingly, that console is the Nintendo Switch, according to Famitsu and Game Data Library, a source tracking Japanese game sales data as spotted by Axios. The last time a single console was responsible for all 30 top-selling titles for a week was the Famicom, the Japanese NES. It wasn't that unusual during the early 1990s for the top 30 to be a combination of Famicom, Super Famicom, and Game Boy games, but never just one. Game Data Library tweeted, "This is unprecedented. It is the first time all 30 games are from the same system after the top 30 tracked all platforms." The sales data comes from Famitsu, Japan's biggest video game publication. Some of the 30 games include many familiar favorites, including Minecraft Switch version, the recently released Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword remaster, and a new adventure game based on Crayon Shin-Chan. No, seriously, Shin-Chan beat Mario Kart 8. That's funny.
What?
That's what it says. Despite the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, Nintendo posted its most profitable year ending in March 2021. Nintendo reported in August that it had sold 89 million Switch consoles, becoming the seventh highest-selling video game console of all time, handily beating the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Nintendo told its investors to expect to sell 20.5 million more consoles by March 2022, which would put it over the Nintendo Wii. So, I mean, what do you think of that? That all top selling games, at least for this last week in Japan, are all on the Switch.
That's not surprising, actually.
Well, with the retirement of the 3DS,
Hmm.
PlayStation 5 still hard to get a hold of. Not,
Well, and especially since Sony hasn't been putting, as much focus on the foreign market or what would be their home market,
yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw what happened there with a lot of Sony's changes to their studio setup, especially because they're
Hmm.
focusing more on like the AAA titles instead of some of these, kind of off-end things. It's not a shock necessarily to see that. It is kind of cool to kind of think about the Switch being the dominating one over there, but it's not a surprise. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I don't think it's quite shocking. I mean, if Sony could produce the units that they could during like the PlayStation 2 era, currently with the PlayStation 5, had there not been the semiconductor shortage, I- it would be the PlayStation for days, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Nintendo would still give them a run for their money. You look at how many households have two, three Switches, and they have two docking consoles and one handheld, or one docking console and two handhelds, or a group of handhelds. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the Switch has become a multi console household thing. You know, so
Oh
it's
yeah.
not surprising that they would sell this many games. And you think about it, you buy Mario Kart for one of the kids, you got to buy Mario Kart for all the kids, because, well, Billy's playing Mario Kart, so Marty has to play Mario Kart as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's
But
see.
I don't know, it just boggles me that a childish game that has taglines about just ridiculous stuff. Oh man. Shin-Chan was an Adult Swim cartoon in the United States, by the way.
Oh, I
Um,
know. You don't have to tell me.
yeah, I in Japan, childish penis jokes are just like that kind of crude humor is like childish. It seriously is. So it's aired to children. So there's a lot of
Uh,
kids that buy Shin-Chan.
don't have to tell me. Wow, though. I mean, like seriously, like I know Shin-Chan. That is just funny. It's the fact,
Oh
yeah.
man.
Because I think about that one. It's like, what type of game would that be? Like, I mean, like, what does that like? I'm just curious to see what that game actually looks like.
all
Uh,
all the load screens have the little dance and the to be a man.
oh my
That'd be
gosh.
great.
Yeah, what is this here? Hang on. Is this it? From February. Yeah, this is it here.
Oh, you found something?
It's not that I found something. I actually found a video from a Nintendo Direct. Hmm.
Wow. What?
He's fishing. He's catching butterflies. It looks like there's some story progression type stuff going on here. Are we sure we actually knew like what Shin-Chan was then? Like, did they just really mess with that story and show to make it more like risque and more kind of
No,
gross in
that
one
that's
sense?
what Shin-Chan is. In Japan it is Crayon Shin-Chan.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, based on this, it doesn't look like it.
It looks like an adventure game.
It does.
Like I would probably even play that. Do they make that in the US?
I don't think so, but I don't think the Switch is region locked. So if you want to, go grab it and
Hmm.
go play it. I mean, you won't be able to understand it. Yeah. Huh. And Alex actually makes a good point here on the sales statistics thing here. He says in 1988, the Famicom had a lot of disk system games, and some of them were from kiosks where game discs could be rewritten. I wonder how how that writes into the statistics. That's actually a very good point. The fact that you actually could rewrite those different game carts then to be able to have new games. And that is actually very interesting.
That's actually how the ROM scene started. Is because they had those units for home use that you were able to rewrite the and make backup copies of your cartridges onto a disc.
Right. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but they did have them in like I want to say Blockbusters, but I don't think they were in Blockbusters.
Here in the States, the only thing I ever remember for Blockbusters with anything that related to cartridges was on the Nintendo 64, and it related specifically to Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, because the only thing I could ever think of that actually related outside of that was you could take your Nintendo 64 memory card and plug it into the NFL Blitz arcade machines.
Yeah, you could.
That was the only other thing I remember. I think here in the States, I think they had the actual cartridge writing stuff probably not existent. I don't ever remember seeing anything like that here.
Nintendo used to have a lot of really cool partnerships.
And guess what? Now they're not. You know? Now they're not. Now they just dominate everything else anyway, but I digress. Let's move on to something else that potentially has dominated the news this week, and this is actually our title story for tonight. Kyle, do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, this is all you, man.
Oh, man, because we know exactly how much fun this is. I wish I had the glasses. I wish I had the everything else going on here. You know, the vest, the hair. I mean, I could really use the hair. I don't have much anymore. So, all right. But let's go ahead and hop into this. I'm sure maybe people are probably figuring some of this out. This comes to us from Game Rant. Again, this is our title story for tonight. Dr. Disrespect is starting his own video game studio and shares idea for vertical battle royale game. Dr. Disrespect has made a name for himself streaming Battle Royale games for years now on both Twitch and YouTube. Known for his critical opinion of games such as Apex Legends, the streamer speaks his mind about the gaming industry. Oh yeah. This time the doc is doing more than speak. He is pursuing his dream of creating a new Battle Royale game and starting a studio to help make it happen. Dr. Disrespect has previously expressed his desire to see a new type of Battle Royale challenge in the top games, or challenge the top games in the genre like Call of Duty Warzone. After growing tired of the same design choice for these types of games, he developed the idea of a battle royale focused on verticality. Roughly 3 years on from the doc's first comments about his new game idea, he finally decided to unveil 2 concept images of this new vertical battle royale after fans noticed a folder on his desktop. Reluctant to open the folder, the streamer eventually decided to let his audience see what he'd been working on outside of streaming. Coming as a surprise to many fans, the image showcased impressive art of a factory area named Sector 5 Machinery, covered with streams of molten lava and numerous levels of intersecting walkways. The area appears to represent a possible level of the structure where the Battle Royale takes place. Another picture revealed a platform outside the main building called Sector 3 Wingsuit Platform Extraction. The main objective of the gameplay seems to revolve around players needing to move up the various levels of a large building to avoid fire spreading at the bottom of the structure. To help make this dream a reality, Dr. Disrespect has started his own gaming studio. This news comes after a job opening was posted on the YouTube streamer's website looking for a studio head to run the development. It seems to be a collaborative effort focused on partnership with a select list of mega influencers. According to the job description, the focus of the game seems to be on PC and consoles. So, one of the things, of course, here that's actually not talked about in the article itself is that I made mention in the intro, is that Dr. Disrespect is actually partnering up with a esports platform he's worked with for some time now, Boom.tv. If anybody has watched any of his live streams where he's doing the Code Red tournaments, I know like Courage does the Code Red tournaments. I think Tim the Tatman and Nick Merckx do them as well. I think Ninja does at the same time too. Anyway, Boom.tv are the ones who run the Code Red tournaments. And so they're a very popular platform for esports-based content, and he's partnering up with them at least to kind of help bankroll everything when it comes to actually building something out here. But yeah, he's looking for a studio head. He's looking for someone to take charge and take control of things. But not any layman can just go and sign up. You need to be someone that has some of that key experience. But what do you think about that, Kyle? I mean, it's something we haven't actually kind of talked about on that one. Is what do you think about a battle royale that actually focuses on progression up a tower of some type instead of progressing, based on a ring that is closing in on a given area?
I feel like I'd be playing the Nakatomi Plaza from Call of Duty while it's burning, but also playing Dark Void at the same time.
Ooh, good point. Interesting.
Because I mean, when he says verticality, the first thing that comes to mind is like, no, that has been done in a shooter before. Don't get carried away.
Yeah.
That it actually was a pretty decent game, but it just came out at a bad time. Yeah, I don't know. It could be cool. It could be a pipe dream, and that's kind of when I heard about it initially. I'm like, this is a fucking pipe dream.
That's what makes me wonder is like one of the problems I actually imagined for a lot of this is that like it takes a lot to start up a studio nowadays.
It
And
does.
especially something if your first title coming out is going to be a battle royale. I mean, maybe, sure. There's a lot of other companies whose first titles, haven't been that.
Mhm.
I mean, the one title that really actually set up the battle royale game genre, PUBG, was based off of mods that were being used in Arma and
Mhm.
DayZ. And it became its own thing. And then of course Fortnite copied it. And then everybody saw how popular everything else was going with it. And sure enough, we have battle royale games out the ass. It's like, do we really need another one? And especially actually, seeing a studio that actually starts with a battle royale title as their first thing,
That's risky.
it is, especially like where the dream is that you're going to have mega influencers that are going to be helping to
See,
kind of
and
craft this.
that's
I don't
where
know.
when you
Hmm.
I don't remember it was a different article. It might have been from like Polygon or The Verge, but the way they had him quoted, like just the mega influencers to make this super awesome game. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you talking about? I
Yeah.
don't know what you've been smoking, but I gotta get me some of that. I don't know, like
Well, it makes
that.
me curious to think though. It's like, what could you really do for that? Like, it reminds me of the Fire Festival that
Mhm.
went all belly up and was all that. And I get a lot of vibes from it. That's the thing. I get a lot of vibes from it.
Yeah, like I mean, that's a lot of hype, and that's a high risk thing to jump into the market with, like we were saying. I don't know. Like, is he just blowing smoke up our asses? Like, in all
Hmm.
seriousness, is this like a stunt? It kind of makes me wonder, but maybe not. And I if it's not, more power to him. Um, because he's worked in the industry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did level
Correct?
design. He did level design um, for Call of Duty. I think either Advanced Warfare or Infinite Warfare. Um, and then he was also communications and social media for Call of Duty at one point in time too.
Okay, so I mean, he's heard what the fans want. He's experienced it. He's programmed it. So now, I mean, I think what he's trying to do is take all this knowledge and really, really kind of put forward something that he thinks would be what gamers want. And maybe that's why he's aiming towards Battle Royale,
Mm-hmm.
is because that's what gamers want right now. And it's a flooded market. It really is, but people don't get tired of them.
Mm-mm. No, and they
So
don't. No, you're absolutely right. They don't. Um, I just don't know what to think of something like this, though.
I don't know. There's a few angles that I'm kind of coming at from, and I don't know. It's like I said, it's a high risk move. It's kind of bizarre, just like the way he's jumping into it, but uh I guess he knows his angles. So
Yeah, he does. I think so.
He does have that to his advantage, and I wouldn't discount that advantage, or I wouldn't discount that advantage because it is a big one. I mean, especially working with having to hear what people want, what people like, and then going out there and streaming for how many years now, and experiencing it, and then continuing to hear it. And
Right.
before that, he's the one that put that stuff out. So
Well, it still makes me
maybe
wonder, like, it's part of this just kind of went through my head. Do you remember the episode of The Simpsons when Homer found out he had a brother who was in charge of a car company and they let Homer make his own car?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of got some vibes like that in some way, that it's like this is what you consider to be like the dream car. This is what you consider to be the dream video game. And you get too many ideas in the basket, and you try to work with all these other influencers and start getting their ideas on things too. Could it potentially become too much of a good thing?
I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
not like it hasn't happened before.
True. And a lot of these guys have, like, I mean, they play games on there. They play these games a lot. They play a lot of these battle royale games. And like, I looked up these statistics here. I'm going to open up this page and show the audience here, of course. So this is from gamesite.io. And right now, at least for top video games itself in the battle royale space, Fortnite is at 19.71 million hours across YouTube and Twitch. Of course, more on Twitch than on YouTube right now. Excuse me. With Modern Warfare coming in at second, Apex Legends at third, and of course, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds coming in at sixth. So it's one of those things that's like, there are players, there are a lot of streamers out there who play a lot of this content. I guess the question comes down to, like, how many of them are going to be involved? Like, I mean, I'm looking at the list here of the ones that, are referenced. Like, we've got Nick Merckx, of course. He's one I watch. We've got, where is he? Symphony is another one. Tifu is another one. Cloaksy's another one here, too. Like, I don't see Tim the Tatman. Of course, Dr. Disrespect's not listed on here. But I'm just saying, though, that there are, there are enough people here who are, playing it, who might be able to provide that feedback. I mean, you're talking like it doesn't give a total number of creators on here itself. But again, there's plenty of feedback to be able to get on the way these games are working and where they're not working. But that doesn't mean necessarily that this is the way to go. So I don't know. We have to wait and see what happens. We have to just see kind of what comes out of it. Maybe it doesn't become a battle royale game. Maybe it becomes something more like that Portal first-person shooter game that everybody's been playing lately too, that's in beta.
Which is funny because it's been out forever on PC.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's just it's weird that it is one of those things. But it's kind of like what happened to Among Us, where it came out in 2018, but it was until last year in the pandemic when it just shot to prominence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Splitgate still had a pretty decent following, but it didn't have nearly the following that it came out. When it came out, like, what, 4 years ago?
Was
and
it
now
4
it's
years ago?
probably blown up. I think it was about 4 years ago, actually. Yeah, is when it first launched. So
let's see here. Splitgate.
I could be wrong.
I'm checking right
before,
now here. Let's see.
quite often.
Splitgate.
Why don't I just look on
Splitgate
Steam?
beta. In the last 24 hours, had a peak of 57,379, all-time peak of 67,000, and oh my gosh, wow, it just out of nowhere. So in June of 2021, had 336 average players. July 2021 had an average of 3,715, and in the last 30 days had an average player count of 23,822, which is a gain in the last 30 days of 20,107%.
Wow.
So, like,
And so I was mistaken. It's only been out for 2 years on PC.
that's still besides the point, though. I mean, it's like, just you look at the level of people playing here. I mean, it's just crazy here to actually see this. That it's like, you look at this graph here from Steam charts, and it's just like da 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 da. Whoa, God, everybody's playing. I mean, it's just. I mean, you can see the upswing in all of it. So, it's just crazy to actually see there. So.
Yeah,
it,
because when I first got my first laptop again, I had downloaded it because I had heard about it years ago, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be really cool, and like no one was on it,
right,
so I couldn't even try it out really.
right. Well,
Maybe it's worth downloading again. I don't know.
I mean, it's still in beta. It seems like it's a pretty quick and easy game to get into. So maybe it
Yeah,
is worth it. I think you're right. Maybe it is worth it. Maybe we'll have to
the
look at that one.
concept's really cool. I mean, if you
Hmm.
like Halo and if you like Portal, that's what it is.
That's what it looks like. But let's move on to some other classic stuff instead here. So, Kyle, you get to talk to us about this one because this is going to be fun.
I didn't know about this. Yeah, I did.
Stop clicking and pressing around on everything here, damn it. All right. Our next story comes to us from VG247. QuakeCon 2021 schedule accidentally leaks revitalized Quake. What does that mean, Kyle? What is happening?
You were right to suspect something going on with Quake at this year's QuakeCon. For a few minutes after the official QuakeCon 2021 schedule was published, the event's website had some extra bits of details about the opening show celebrating 25 years of Quake. Uh, though the initial description made it sound like a normal anniversary celebration, the site actually revealed what the opening ceremony will be about, which might have spoiled what we're in for. As spotted by Xbox Era, the description at one point referenced a revitalized edition of Quake. Quake is back. In the special stream, John Lineman from Digital Foundry talks to Jerk Gustafsson of Machine Games about the title's iconic legacy and what it means or what it meant to both of them. The pair will also discuss the additional content Machine Games will have contributed to the revitalization or the revitalized edition. The panel's synopsis once read before it was edited to remove this paragraph. As you can see, this does hint at some sort of Quake remaster, which may be revealed at the top of the show before the two proceed to talk about it. Obviously, this isn't confirmation, but it's a smoking gun.
I mean, we got ray traced Quake, original Quake with ray tracing on it, just as like to prove a point or something about how ray tracing looks. And now we're getting a revitalized Quake. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem with
Quake.
that. I like Quake. I like Unreal Tournament. Those are the games. Those were your PC LAN cafe,
Oh yeah.
games of the day. It's like that would be nice to have something back like that, just to run and jump around in that, because otherwise you got to set up an Unreal Tournament 2004 server and all that jazz. But it's just like, it's good to see some of this come back. I'm just curious to think it's like, I guess maybe because it is the anniversary. 25 years is how old Quake is. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Yeah. It just
You're old.
kind of not really though at the same time, because it seems like I didn't get it that far after release, and it seemed like, I mean, it was years after release, but not like 10 years, it was only a few years after release, but it seemed like ages after release. I guess maybe it's just the fact that the games progress that fast. It is why it just seemed like it aged so poorly, but graphically it wasn't anything to really shake a stick at. It was still a great game though.
But
I don't know, 25 years, that's insane.
yeah, it really is, especially for the fact that it's like, oh God, it makes me feel even older than I should feel right now. God damn it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good, though, to actually see a remaster and revitalization of this. I think that'll actually be kind of a good thing to see, especially because, like, we haven't really seen much from Quake in the last long while, really. And it's, it's one of those things that, really kind of made Bethesda there at the start. And, they've evolved and expanded into a lot more things, especially a lot of stuff that focuses more on the story side, when Quake was just jump in and just start shooting things and blow stuff up,
Oh yeah. It actually, it's funny that this happened because just the other day, it was like literally 2 days ago, I was like thinking about, it would be really cool if they came out with Unreal Tournament 2K24. And then I was like, holy shit. That means I bought on release in 2004 the Unreal Tournament 2K4. Holy crap.
Oh, it just hurts a little bit, doesn't it, just to think about that.
That's just a few years away. Just a few years away.
I know
Make
it
it
is.
happen, Unreal.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure Epic will
Come
probably
on,
jump
Epic.
all over it, except, come on, Kyle, we know how this works with Epic. It'll be rolled into Fortnite in one way or another.
God damn it, don't say that. If they put Malcolm in Fortnite, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, that's the only time you ever install Fortnite on there is to play Unreal Tournament 2004 Remastered Edition.
I might have to disown gaming entirely if that happens. That's horrible.
I don't think that'll ever happen, but I'll keep an eye out
Ooh.
on that one for sure.
Okay.
But even so,
I don't think I could do that anyway.
But even so, we got QuakeCon a couple weeks away here now too, so we'll definitely get to hear more about this upcoming remastered Quake title. We got a lot of other things that are coming down too. Hopefully, we'll hear some stuff also, because not only is it Quake, it's just called QuakeCon, but it's really more of a focus on Bethesda titles and id titles as well. The cool thing though about it that I think we're going to be seeing going in anyway is just hopefully more information even on Elder Scrolls. Not Elder Scrolls Online, but Elder Scrolls 6 and of course Starfield. So
Right.
We got a lot to hear about, and I'm kind of curious to see exactly what it says here. And Ryan, of course, adds his comment to the whole foray. Screw Fortnite. I mean,
Thank you.
we just looked
Thank you.
we just looked at Fortnite statistics at
I hate
at
Fortnite.
19 million hours played, of course, and Epic Games, of course, reported within a couple of years that they made $2 billion off the game. So yeah, screw Fortnite, but damn, does it make a lot of money. Regardless of that, we got one more story for you guys tonight. So let's wrap this up here with this last one. And this is kind of an interesting one, but to be honest with you, I think it'll still probably happen anyway. From Nintendo Life, head of Xbox shuts down idea of Game Pass coming to other platforms. Again. Head of Xbox Phil Spencer recently did an interview with Games Radar about all things related to Microsoft's gaming ecosystem. Once again, the question about bringing Game Pass to other platforms, like the Nintendo Switch, has been raised. Phil has replied with the same response about how he wants to offer the full Xbox experience on these platforms, but the same platforms refuse to cooperate. As a result, there are no plans at the moment to bring the Xbox app or Xbox Game Pass to these closed systems. People usually ask me about releasing one individual game or another, and what I say is I want the full Xbox experience to be something that we deliver. We have no plans to bring it to any other kind of closed platforms right now, mainly because those closed platforms don't want something like Game Pass. There's a ton of other platforms out there for us to grow in, the web, PC, and mobile, so all of our focus, frankly, is on those platforms. Spencer went on to explain how he can understand why these other platforms may not want something like Game Pass, but also stated how it's not a dead end just yet, as the team is totally open to discussions in the future. That's not a slam on anybody else who has a system that works for them. I can see why the disruption of Game Pass is not something that they want right now. In the end, when we say we want everybody to be able to play on Xbox, we really mean if we can bring that full experience to a device that players want, we are totally open to those discussions. Phil has previously explained how other competitive platforms don't appear to be interested in having the full Xbox experience on their hardware. Nintendo of America president Doug Bowser was also asked if his company would bring Game Pass to the Switch last December and danced around the question with the following response. We are always looking at various ways that we can engage our consumers right now. We have found that our catalog and our third-party publishing catalog that's available, whether it's through Nintendo Switch Online or through Frontline Game Purchase, has really been allowing us to do that. Earlier this year, it was noted that in the leaked Apple versus Epic court documents that Xbox hadn't given up on bringing its game subscription service to platforms like the Switch. As friendly relations between the Xbox division and Nintendo of America seem to be, as Phil says, it seems to be that the other platforms just aren't interested in the idea. Phil has also got his hands on a Steam Deck this week when he visited Gabe Newell at Valve HQ and noted how great it was for games like Halo and Age of Empires. So there's that. Yeah. Before we get into that, looks like Ryan had another comment here related to our last story. I want to see the statistics of how much money parents have lost to child transactions on the game. Like a kid took the credit card and went to town. Well, I don't know if those statistics have ever been
Hundreds of
revealed. I'm sure
thousands.
it's probably, yeah, I'm sure it's not like millions of dollars. I'm sure it's
Hundreds.
probably hundreds of thousands. Because you've got to think is that like there's a lot of security protocols and security features out there to be able to help at least keep that stuff under lock and key to prevent the kids from doing stuff like that. Of course, it all starts with the parents, because I am the victim of that with my kid going and buying Farming Sim 19 and I only discovering it after he got the DLC. Anyway, so no, it's up to the parents to lock everything down on that one. But my guess is that it's probably only, like you said too, Kyle, is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's going to be up to them to lock that stuff down and just see, of course, what happens. But anyway, back onto this, though. I'm not really surprised that Nintendo doesn't want to play ball by putting Game Pass on the Switch. It's not a surprise. It's not. But
Well, it's a risky maneuver.
agreed.
You don't want your
Agreed.
people buying your console to not play your games.
Yeah. Agreed.
So,
It's one of those things. I mean, it still sells the hardware, but we've already seen it in years past about how the companies lose money on hardware sales. That all of the money that they make back is on software sales. So there'd have to be some sort of nice, happy middle ground where Nintendo makes money on some sort of profit sharing with Microsoft to be able to actually earn back that revenue. Because like, oh, cool, they're buying the hardware, but now they also need to be able to make up for that lost revenue though too, unless. And here's the kick to the pants on this one, Kyle. You ready for it? I know how it could work. And you're going to hate me for it. You ready?
okay.
You must have Nintendo Switch Online to be able to play Game Pass.
Of course. So you have to have a Game Pass to play a Game Pass.
That's how they're going to be able to do it. I've solved the crisis. You're welcome. Doug Bowser, you want to call me? I'll put my phone number somewhere there for you.
Or you could just get the Devolver Digital Max Pass Plus.
I'm so done with you and
everything.
Devolver Digital. I'm so done with you and Devolver Digital. I need to oh my God, I need to call that company up and make sure they don't sell you games ever again. But let's focus a little bit here towards that last paragraph, though, is that Phil has gotten his hands on a Steam Deck. I think the Steam Deck actually looks like one of those viable options to have Game Pass working on it, especially if it uses the browser version of Game Pass. Well, it's going to have to, but you use the browser version of Game Pass, and to be able to play games in the browser on there, I think that makes it like a very compelling device to do that. I really do. I mean, it helps to leverage, because if your storage space ends up being a problem and you want to play some of these games, then you can go through the game streaming side of Game Pass and play some of these things. I think that's actually going to be one of those unique purchase points and discussion points to actually kind of put forward compared to buying something like a GPD, which I didn't actually put it in here as one of the articles to talk about tonight. But GPD is actually exploring its own version of the Steam Deck now. As a way to compete. They're actually looking at their own version of it. But which I find
that's
weird.
the thing, though. Steam was able to make a reasonable price point, with the Steam Deck, where GPDs, I mean, if you buy just a basic one, it's like $1,200. You might be able to, I might be able to pick up a GPD Win 2 right now, which is a couple generations old, but it would still run stuff just fine. But a Win 2 would be maybe like what, $800, $700 if I'm lucky.
That's what I'm looking at right now. Like if you wanted one that was specifically for playing games,
because I think the most recent one's the Win Max.
It's the Win 3.
Oh,
so,
is it the Win 3 now?
Yeah, so the Win 3 is the one where it has the slide up screen on it with like the touch keyboard underneath the screen.
Oh no, they've got a new one.
Do they? I'm on their website right now.
I
Oh,
could've swore they did.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. It showed up okay. I'm going to share this out here so that way people can see this though too.
I think it's the GPD
okay.
Win Max.
It is. It's the Win Max 2021. It's got an Intel Core i7 1195 G7 or a Ryzen 7 4800U. Let's see. interesting.
You're
So
holding a friggin' portable DVD player.
that's about what that thing looks like, really. But
Yeah.
it comes with, wow, okay. I mean, GPD's been really good about building up on these things. Wow, wait, really? Hold on a minute. It's got Thunderbolt Type 4 or Thunderbolt 4 built into this thing too. Damn.
Yeah. They don't mess around. They've made improvements every time they've come out with one of their new products. I've actually followed GPD, not like thoroughly, but
Okay, so let me
kind of
ask.
every now and then.
So let me ask you this, Kyle. Which one would you buy? Would you get the Intel version or would you get the AMD version?
Uh, Honestly, probably the Intel version.
Okay. Well, the bonus is at least that both are the same price here, according to the Indiegogo, $997 for the WinMax with either version.
But that's on their Indiegogo, so that's like their introductory type if you donate, right?
That's just that's the price itself is going to be $997 US dollars,
Okay.
but that's on that. So that is through the Indiegogo if you secure one before they close out the entire thing, which it's not done yet. It's got a month left. But over on GPD's website anyway, they don't even have the Max listed here. They've got their other ones listed though, like the like it takes me to AliExpress.
I want to say I could have swore that they go up in price once they leave Indiegogo.
I mean, they very well could. It doesn't really seem to say here,
Because that price is for people that backed it or whatever.
Right, but still, if you want to go and get one right now and get it in September, you're actually going to get it before even the Steam Deck comes out. And so that's the key thing there is that's actually going to be, potentially another thing to actually look at, especially for the fact that it comes with 1 terabyte PCIe NVMe M.2 SSD as well, and 16 gigs of RAM. And it comes with that AMD processor on there. It doesn't say graphics though, like what the actual built-in graphics setup is. I'd have to
and that's where it makes me worry. You're probably going to get like the previous gen, like I would say probably what a 3900 APU or something.
So it gets you
the
AMD Ryzen 7 4800U is what you get. If you get the i7, you get the Iris Xe GPU. It doesn't say on there. Let me see here what the built-in graphics are on the 4800U. To the internet we go. Let's see. It is a 8-core, 16-thread processor, which comes with it just says Radeon graphics on here, with the graphics frequency at 1750 megahertz. So it may not be too bad. That's not necessarily the craziest thing anyway. Let's take a look here at the pass mark just to see what they actually said about it. Let's see.
But here's also the thing too, is there's never been a GPD product that hasn't ran extremely loud.
True, but for me, I wouldn't mind having something that is a smaller laptop like this to take around. That's one thing for me. That's one thing for me. But anyway, I mean, we can keep talking about that, going crazy. But I know
I'm just not a fan of those micro keyboards either.
Right. That's why it's like I don't like the slide out version that they have. I like the idea better of the one that actually has the keyboard instead.
See, and I think because it is a keyboard that even the keyboard style one is a micro keyboard, I'd almost rather have the like clicky buttons like on the chat pads or something.
Yeah. We got
just
some
for
more.
the tactileness.
Yeah,
But
we got some more.
I don't know. We could go on all night about it, honestly.
Yeah, we got some more comments from Ryan here too. So he's talking like, now that Funimation and Sony have acquired Crunchyroll, I can totally see them extending an olive branch to the competition to worm their way onto other consoles. But the thing
I
is that
actually
it's like,
wanted to bring this up too.
well, the thing is though is that it's like, so, let's see, they're talking about adding Funimation to PS Plus. Okay, that would make sense. But one of the key things though that I don't see here is about them worming their way onto other consoles because they don't have a platform similar to Game Pass to actually offer any sort of like content. At least they got PlayStation Now, but they have not really developed anything out for it to be used really anywhere else, at least in the grand scheme. I mean, there hasn't been enough support behind the scenes to do it.
Yeah, it's just the way that their services are set up because they have they have this membership, and this membership. Even when they had their movie membership, which is totally defunct now in the United States, but it was like 3 memberships. I mean, I could see them putting out other memberships where it includes this the Crunchyroll or includes the like movies because they're still test driving it in one country, I want to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just see them using it to generate revenue off of other platforms, but I don't think maybe past that.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
I don't think PlayStation
until they can find a way to actually sit down and say, okay, this is our service is one, like Xbox has it. Then,
well, and if PlayStation Now actually evolves enough to even kind of get to the point where Game Pass is in the first place, because Game Pass is such a unique offering compared to even just game streaming alone, that I don't know if they could worm their way onto anything else. I don't think so. I think Sony's kind of losing. Like, they're still very popular. Don't get me wrong. Sony's always going to be popular. But I think because of the way they've been treating their studios, like we talked about earlier, is that I think they're starting to lose a little bit of their clout. I think they're starting to lose a little bit of that confidence in what they can put out there. And so I think for them to start bridging into that potential for this kind of all-in-one bundle with the streaming stuff also included too, to compete against Game Pass would be neat to see. I'm just afraid they're a little bit behind the curve. They have to really make it a good value offering. And I think kind of like what Ryan was going on about, like, with them potentially rolling in Crunchyroll and Funimation into PlayStation Plus, that could be a way to kind of bridge that. But you've also got to start looking at what else they can work into it. If they can work PlayStation Now into it and kind of not really console lock it or lock it down so you can't play it in these spots, that's going to be one thing. But I just don't
wonder
think
if they're
so.
going to keep it as 2 separate services.
What, Crunchyroll and Funimation?
Oh yeah, I could see them doing that.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to merge it into one to be able to save on personnel.
I could see them doing it because they generate 2 different types of revenue. And it is very specific to the dubbed community and the subbed community. There definitely is more dubbed content on Funimation, and but you can get some of the sub content like same day on Funimation, whereas you're going to get a higher quantity of sub content.
Right, but that's why I see it like with Funimation that they would probably end up rolling it into Crunchyroll. I guess you have to look at the user metrics to see. Roll it into Crunchyroll, and then either up the cost because of the inclusion of Funimation, like not by a lot. Don't like double it, so that way it's the same price for each. Double up in that, but bring both together and then create like a Funimation portal, so all that stuff is together in one. But anyway, besides that, we can go on about that one all day too. Ryan, of course, specifies he wants the AMD version of the GPD, but he's also said, let's see, they're pulling the Crunchyroll inventory completely to Funimation. Okay, so it's going the opposite way. Ultimately, Crunchy will be going the way of the dodo, which is a bit of a surprise, but I guess we're going to have to see how that one gets handled. But that's not even gaming stuff. That's all the way out there anyway.
Yeah.
The key thing we want to focus on, though, at least here with this, is that, like from where this article was at, is that Sony... or that Game Pass is not going to be making its way to other platforms right now, except where it's already at, on PC, on mobile, on Xbox. That Phil Spencer at least has got his hands on a Steam Deck at some point, whether he actually took one with him or he just played with one much longer and started talking to Gabe Newell about how to integrate Game Pass or try to offer some sort of olive branch to do it.
Keep your eyes on his bookshelf.
That, yeah. Or anything around him. But even with that, I think the big thing though for us to really look at is the potential for Game Pass native support within Steam Deck potentially, but then of course the competition with the GPD Win devices, especially with this next one coming out, and you
Well,
could
not
like
even just GPD, because there's other companies that have really excellent devices that are upcoming, and we have yet to see if Alienware is going to do anything. Well, I should say Dell is going to do anything with the Alienware UFO proof of concept that they
mhm.
had shown at CES 2 years ago. So,
Right, but what I'm more curious about anyway, though, is that like because you look at it with something like I know like with the Alienware UFO, but if I look at something like the GPD Win anyway right now, is that basically runs Windows right out of the box,
it
whereas
does.
I'd have some weird feeling that the UFO is going to be something weird with Windows. I don't know why. It's just Dell always likes to screw with people. I would
Oh yeah.
probably end up seeing something where it's like, with the GPD running native Windows, it'd be easier for the integration with Game Pass because then that means you don't have to use the browser. It means that for Game Pass and game streaming, you can download games directly to the GPD Win, but then you use natively built-in game streaming functionality instead of having to use a browser. That's where it ends up getting a net advantage compared to something like the Steam Deck, which as of right now, all we know is it's running Arch Linux. It's using
Mhm.
Proton to emulate the Windows side of things, so that way at least gaming can or Windows games can work. They did say you can install any OS on there, but that's one of those other points, though, is that it's like there are a lot out there, and I guess it's going to just kind of be what we see going forward. I guess that's going to be it. Um, I mean,
But on the other hand, too,
yeah,
though, because of advancements with the Steam Deck, and Arch, they've also, um, it's now easier to play Windows games on Linux PCs in general without having to have the Vulkan, uh, uh,
the
uh,
API.
API. Yeah, sorry, thank you.
Well, the
Drawing a
thing is
blank
though is
there.
that well, the thing is though is that like Vulkan, like so there was a story that came out here. I mean, we're getting more technical, and we keep going on when we say we're not going to, but here we are. Um,
Yeah.
but no, there's a recent thing that came out that said there were further improvements with the Vulkan API on the Linux side of things that actually showed a net improvement on actual Windows gameplay, and the only
Mhm.
way that was actually that ended up being supported was all of the work that went into Proton. That Proton was actually really the foundation for that to be evolved even
Yep.
further, and that wasn't even a Steam thing for it going further. It was just Proton being kind of like the jumpstart for Linux gaming to become more
Mhm.
of a thing. And I think that's where it's like, why this comes to my head now. Why didn't Valve put the effort into even more of this? And then now we could potentially be seeing the actual birth of the Steam machine compared to what we had
Right.
back in
Oh man.
2012, 2013. Why couldn't we have had something like that now? Because let me see if I can actually find the article. It's a very technical one for sure, but I got to do a little bit of moseying around here on the Twitter to find it. So let's see. Because the guy who posted is someone I follow on Twitter. Let's see. Yeah, he went on and said game devs will now be able to make native Linux ports without having to rewrite for Vulkan. That's a huge load off the porting process, and some native ports are already using it. Proton's development, far from discouraging native ports, enabled this. So let's see. Yeah. So DXVK, I don't know what DXVK stands for. It's proven to be a huge success for improving the experience of running Windows Direct 3D 9, 10, and 11 games on Linux by translating those Direct 3D calls to Vulkan. DXVK, I'm sure it's DirectX Vulkan is probably what that short for. Native, meanwhile, is the newer spin-off
Yeah.
effort around
Direct
providing
Direct 3D, Vulkan.
Yep.
Vulkan-based translation layer.
Yep. So it's a new spin-off effort around providing a DXVK-based build native for Linux to help game ports that can then still rely on their Direct 3D renderer path, which means that it makes it easier for those things to happen. Again, I know we're geeking out on a lot of this stuff anyway here because it's like we don't play games on Linux in the first place. I mean, the only thing I've got running on Linux that's gaming related are the Minecraft servers I've got running here next to me on Ubuntu. That's it. But even so with that, is that it's like, why didn't Valve put more effort and emphasis into this as the years had gone on? Because then we could actually start seeing the birth of the Steam machines. And I kind of, it's one of those things to say, The Steam Deck feels like the revitalization of the Steam machine. It seems like this is what Valve was actually aiming for all the time. And we've already proven the success of it with that whole catalog of like 15,000 games that already work with this right out of the box. Like, you know, they might have a few hiccups here and there, but that's a huge library to be able to start off with. We didn't have that when Steam Machine came out. We didn't have that when Steam OS came out. Now we got it. Now we're seeing basically Steam Machine 2.0 in the form of Steam Deck, especially when you dock it and hook it up to a computer like monitor or to a TV. You're getting that now.
You're getting the computer experience.
Exactly. On top of that, you're not only getting the Linux kernel underneath to be able to actually use as a standard desktop, but you can install Windows on it though too. And of course, again, you're also offering healthy competition to this environment, especially for the fact of going back to the GPD win. You're talking about this other, God, I can't remember the name of it though. There's a lot out there, but it looks like this is kind of where Valve was going to. And I got to be perfectly honest with you. I'm upset that it took so long for Valve to get it all really like sorted and figured out, but this bodes well for our future of things as they relate to gaming on the go, on support for Game Pass on more places. And in the end, with GPD, with that Win Max coming out, being at $996 there on Indiegogo, you're getting a terabyte of NVMe SSD storage right out of the box instead of paying 512 or for 512 gigs for $650. You're getting double that for $400 more. Yeah, or you're getting double that for $300 more, excuse me.
Yeah. And all I can do is expand with flash memory when I get mine. So
yeah, exactly. This one, on the other hand, the GPD win, you can just flip it over, pop in another one and go.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
because I don't believe it's soldered, so
it's not. It's just a slot-in stick. That's it. But I'm going to leave it at that because we have gone on too freaking long about that. But you can at least see where our passions lie when it comes to these things. And I got to be perfectly honest, I love doing that when that happens sometimes. But we've eaten up enough of that time anyway. So that is it for the news this week. Of course, we gave you a little taste of some other things that are going on there too. So take that as you will. Go and do some of your additional research as well. And of course, get back to us when you join us next time. Speaking of which, you want to join us next time, you make sure to like us on our Facebook page or, of course, subscribe to us on our YouTube page. You make sure to hit that notification bell on our YouTube page so when we go live, you get a notification about it, whether you're on your computer, whether you're on your phone, whether you are somehow watching YouTube on your grandma's cat, I don't know. You'll get a notification one way or another. But of course, that poor cat, I swear to God, that poor cat is so full of Fortnite videos. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to our new YouTube video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe notification bell. We're going to go prank our friends. Let's go do it. You know, that stupid crap. Anyway, you can tell that I have kids who watch those types of videos. But of course, the main thing about Kyle and I, of course, is that we podcast. The NPCs podcast is the main thing that we do here, of course. I know we didn't do it last week. It was a very busy week last week, but here we are. You want to check that out for us, of course. That really helps us out a lot. Go subscribe on your favorite podcast platform of choice. Of course, all the links are probably below this video on YouTube, and of course, are linked over on our Facebook page as well, too. Our homepage for that is anchor.fm/the-NPCs-podcast. It does help us out when you subscribe there, of course, listening to our episodes. Either listen to what we're playing for the week, or, of course, listen to our NPCs Discuss, where we do a topic, or discuss a topic, not do a topic, discuss a topic related to, of course, the video game industry. The most recent one we talked about was cheating and hacking, especially as we talked about battle royales, and of course, the most recent exodus of people from Warzone over to Apex Legends as of late. With all that, of course, Kyle, as always, thank you so much again for joining me, because it is just us, the NPCs, here too.
Always.
And of course, thank you again to everybody out there that watched and commented along with us tonight too. We will catch you guys all next week.
Bye-bye.